Good morning, world. Good morning, Kwara. Good morning, beautiful city of Ilorin. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. This Monday morning, the 24th of March 2025, and of course, the 24th of Ramadan 1446. I can't believe Ramadan is already 24th. And some people are like, I mean, they should return this thing back to Ramadan first.
We are saying bye-bye to Ramadan very soon.
Yeah, inshallah. So welcome to today's newspaper review on Emirate Radio. I am Latifah Ibrahim-Arowona, and with me this morning is...
I am Misturah Issa. Good morning. I hope you have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, the weekend was great. At least mine was, alhamdulillah. So the newspaper we have this morning on our newspaper review are the Daily Post newspaper, the Punch newspaper, Online Royal newspaper, the Daily Trust newspaper, and...
the Nation newspaper, the Leadership, and... what else? I think that's all.
Yeah, I think that's that for now. So please stay with us on this morning on our newspaper review. So on the Daily Post newspaper this morning, 4 dead, 3 injured in Katsina road accident. A tragic road accident in Katsina State has claimed the lives of 4 people, leaving 3 others injured. The incident occurred on Sunday morning along the Musawa Dan Ali Road when a Volkswagen Golf veered off the road, resulting in a fatal crash. The victims were returning from Musawa, where they had gone to visit a sick person when the accident happened at around 11 a.m. Those who lost their lives in the accident have been identified as Samaila Abdul Muttalib, Rabilu Ahmed, Ashia Saminu, and Nana Aliyu. All the deceased were family members and residents of Dang Ali village. 3 others identified as Hajara Abdul Muttalib, Jamila Abdul Muttalib, and Maikudi Salisu sustained various degrees of injuries and are currently receiving treatment at the Katsina Federal Hospital. The deceased have been buried in accordance with Islamic rites.
And also on Punch newspaper, ID caution against unlawful arrest, prolonged detention. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has warned officers of the Nigerian police force against the unlawful and prolonged detention of suspects. The ID stressed that suspects must not be detained beyond legally stipulated period and warned that any official found culpable of such violation will face strict disciplinary measures. Egbetokun noted that unlawful detention erodes public trust and confidence in the police force, urging officers to conduct their duties with professionalism, integrity, and respect for human rights.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper this morning, address unemployment, insecurity, hunger. Methodist Church urged Tinubu. The leadership of the United Methodist Church in Nigeria, UMCN, has called on President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to implement urgent policy measures to tackle youth unemployment, poverty, hunger, and insecurity, including the ongoing Boko Haram insurgency. In a communique issued weekend at the conclusion of his joint annual conference in Jalingo, Taraba State, UMCN emphasized the need for swift action to alleviate widespread suffering across the country. Signed by the chairman of the communique committee, Mr. Achua Andrew. The church also raised concerns over the closure of its worship centers in Taraba State, describing the situation as a source of emotional and physical hardship for its members.
Still on Punch newspaper, Nigeria to learn power generation from Egypt, says minister. The federal government says it will learn power generation and transmission from Egypt, which it described as a role model in the sector. The government also has reaffirmed its commitment to rural development to improve electricity access. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, disclosed this during a recent meeting in Abuja with the Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria, Muhammad Fuad. The statement by Adelabu's spokesperson, Bolaji Tunde, said yesterday that the meeting centered on strengthening bilateral cooperation in energy expansion with a focus on renewable energy and rural electrification.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper this morning, El-Rufai's defection. New political alliance elicits more reaction from North. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai's recent defection from the All Progressive Congress to the Social Democratic Party has sparked intense political debates and criticism. While he cited disillusionment with the APC as his primary reason, Reactions from the party's stakeholders, opposition figures, and political analysts have been mixed. On March 10, 2025, El-Rufai announced his resignation from the APC, stating that the party had deviated from its founding principle and had become intolerant of internal democracy. He accused the leadership of sidelining members and failing to fulfill the promises that brought them to power. El-Rufai also hinted at engaging other opposition figures to build a stronger coalition ahead of future elections.
Alright, on revised crisis, Obi tackled Tinubu government for releasing allocation to sole administrator. Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has slammed President Bola Tinubu-led government over the release of Rivers State withheld allocation to the appointed sole administrator, despite ruling of the Supreme Court. This men gathered at the Harper's Court on February 28 by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), the Accountant General of the Federation and other agencies from releasing allocations to Rivers State government, pending when it purged itself of what the court described as flagrant disobedience to court order. However, on Tuesday last week, President Tinubu declared a state of emergency in the state and consequently suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, and all members of the State House of Assembly for 6 months over the lingering crisis. Tinubu, in a nationwide broadcast, announced the appointment of Ibrahim-Arowona as the sole administrator to pilot the affairs of the state. On Friday, Ibas confirmed in Port Harcourt that the withheld allocation have been released. Reacting, Obi, in a statement today, said the decision to release statutory allocation to an appointed sole administrator, despite the standing of the Supreme Court, is not just unlawful, it is a direct challenge to the authority of the highest court of our country.
Still on Daily Post newspaper this morning, police arrest suspects over alleged killing of POS operator in Adamawa. The Adamawa State Police Command has arrested the suspects in connection with the gruesome killing of Abbas Yuguda, a 35-year-old POS operator who was attacked and fatally injured in Mayo Belwa local government area. The incident occurred on March 22, 2025, when the victim was heading home after closing his business for the day. According to police reports, a group of assailants armed with offensive weapons attacked him, inflicting severe head injuries before leaving him in a pool of blood. Confirming the incident, SP Suleiman Yahya Nguroje, the police public relations officer, in a statement on Monday revealed that upon receiving the distress call, operatives from the Mayo Belwa Divisional Headquarters swiftly arrived at the scene and rushed the victim to Cottage Hospital, Mayo Belwa. Unfortunately, he was confirmed dead while receiving treatment.
And on Vanguard newspaper, one dead, others injured as suspected herders attack Edo community. One person has been feared killed and others injured in Okun community in Essa West local government area of Edo State by suspected Fulani herdsmen. This coming despite effort by the state government to rid the state of criminal herdsmen and kidnappers. The latest attack, which took place during the weekend, was disclosed in a 1-minute 30-second video currently making the rounds on the social media platform. According to the Voice on the video releases yesterday, situation reports that Okun community in Eastern West local government area of Edo State were under attack. Okun Kingdom is under attack. The herders, it was gathered, made attempts to kidnap them on their way to their respective farm, but the farmer managed to escape through divine intervention.
And on the Punch newspaper this morning, Obi slams disregard for South Court's judgment in Rivers Fund allocation. Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has criticized the ongoing political development in Rivers State, describing them as an aberration and a violation of Nigeria's constitutional order. Obi, in a statement on Monday via X, condemned the alleged disobedience of a Supreme Court rulings regarding a release of statutory allocation on an appointed sole administrator instead of a duly constituted legislative body. What we are witnessing in Rivers State is a brazen disobedience and disregard of the rule of law and our democratic principles. The decision to release statutory allocation to an appointed sole administrator, despite a standing order of the Supreme Court, is not just unlawful, it is a direct claim to the authority of the highest courts of our country, Obi said. He expressed concern over the decision to release state funds despite a standing order from the Supreme Court, which had barred the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Accountant General of the Federation from disbursing these allocations until a legally recognized House of Assembly passes an appropriation act.
And also on Punch newspaper, Obasanjo warns against borehole drilling on your dam neglect. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has raised the alarm over indiscriminate water borehole drilling in homes, declaring that repercussions of such could be devastating. He lamented that the incessant construction of boreholes, particularly in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, was a result of the failure of subsequent administrations to sustain the Oyon Dam project built by its military administration in 1977. The former president, according to a statement by his special assistant on media, Kehinde Akinyemi, yesterday gave the warning when the management and staff of the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development Authority, led by the managing director Dr. Adedeji Ashu, visited him.
Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, I have no links to militants, says Fubara. Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara had denied any links to militant groups, warning against attempts to incite violence or economic sabotage in his name. Fubara made this known in a statement issued on Monday by his Chief Press Secretary Nelson Chukwudi in Port Harcourt, the state's capital. The governor was reacting to trending videos alleging explosion at oil and gas installation in the state, which he described as fake and malicious. He urged security agencies to investigate the source of videos and take action against those responsible. The statement read, "Our attention has once again been drawn to a flurry of malicious, fake, and imaginary videos of purported explosion on oil and gas facility in the state. Virtually all the fake videos have been linked to alleged militant groups in the state, with the creators of such content trying very hard to connect them to supporters of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Already, the communities where these incidents are alleged to have occurred have reacted, dismissing any claims of explosion on oil and gas facilities in their domain, and reassuring that all critical government assets within their areas are safe, secure, and efficiently functioning."
And on Punch newspaper here, Natasha follow Kogi Senator clash over suspension. The suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District Sunday Karimi traded word yesterday. In a statement yesterday, Karimi, an All Progressive Congress lawmaker, had justified Natasha's suspension from the Senate, describing the incident leading to her suspension as embarrassing. But in a swift reaction, Natasha said Karimi's statement justified the need to subject lawmakers to drug tests. Karimi, in his statement, posited that the action of the Kogi Central lawmaker had vindicated former Governor Yahaya Bello following the earlier fears he raised about her coming to the Red Chamber. He expressed his disappointment in the press statement made available to newsmen, while recalling that she snubbed his entries and appealed to resolve the matter. Karimi regretted that Akpoti-Uduaghan brought disgrace to Kogi State by allowing her confrontation with the Senate President, causing Apollo to degenerate to suspension.
Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, Naira for crude, marketers fear price hike as FG suspend sale to Dangote. Following the Dangote Petroleum Refinery suspension of the sale of petroleum products in Naira, some filling stations have started stockpiling premium motor spirits, otherwise known as petrol, newsmen gathered. The retailers are storing the product to ensure they have enough to sell at a higher rate, having projected that the price of petrol will go up soon as a result of the failure of the federal government to continue the sale of crude oil to the Dangote refinery in the local currency. However, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria warned these retailers to stop panic buying as they may run into heavy losses. Last week, the Dangote refinery announced that it had temporarily halted the sale of petroleum products in Naira as the Naira for crude talks between it and NNPCL appeared to have failed. The 650,000 barrel per day capacity refinery lamented that there was a mismatch between its sales proceeds and its crude oil purchase obligations, which is said are currently denominated in the US dollars.
Alright, OT will visit pension deal, Abia Assembly Pope school fees. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has pledged to re-evaluate the state agreement with the Nigerian Union of Pensioners regarding the settlement of pensions arrears. Speaking at the 8th birthday Thanksgiving service of Senator Chris Adigije, Oti acknowledged concerns about the NUP agreement raised by Reverend Ernest Onyeku, emphasizing that pensioners were honest but their leadership remains problematic. The governor will call out his administration allocated 10 billion naira to clear outstanding pensions, but was met with resistance from union leaders. The state government and the pensioners have been at loggerheads over the decision of the government to pay part of the pensions arrears, agreed with the NUP leadership. Speaking at the birthday ceremony, Oti said he was happy that the cleric understood and narrated what transpired between the government and the leadership of the NUP.
And on the online royal news, Kwara Tescom invites 180 applicants for makeup interview. Kwara State Teaching Service Commission (TESCOM) has invited another 180 applicants who sat its computer-based test for a makeup interview to fill gaps in certain subject areas and 15 local government areas. The interview is fixed for 9 a.m. on Wednesday, March 26th at the headquarters of the Commission in Ilorin. This is a makeup exercise which affects all but Ilorin West local government area. Our analysis shows that some local government have shortfalls in few subject areas such as chemistry, English language, mathematics, Islamic studies, Christian studies, history, physics, geography, French and Yoruba, commerce, and we have need to screen some of the applicants who made the basic requirement from the CBT to take up their slots. It is basically about marrying merits, equity, and realities for the overall benefits of the state, according to the TESCOM chairman.
And also on the Nation newspaper, Tinubu will not keep Rivers emergency road longer than necessary, federal government assures. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will lift the state of emergency in Rivers State as soon as normalcy is restored. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, has assured. The minister gave this assurance in an interview with newsmen. Idris assured that Tinubu will make commitment to ensuring Rivers State return to full democratic governance as soon as possible.
Still on the online royal news, another political giant dies in Kwara. Governor Abdulrazak mourns. A political giant from Moro local government area of Kwara State and Second Republic lawmaker Chief Wale Oke is dead. Royal news gathered that the chieftain of the All Progressive Congress died at the early hours of Sunday. A condolence message is issued by the Chief Press Secretary of the Governor Kwara State, Rafiu Ajakaye, expressed Governor Abdulrazak's sadness over the death of the statesman. He identified late Chief Oke as a prominent APC leader, Second Republic lawmaker, and fine progressive, stressing that the late Jagmolu was a great statesman and community leader who peacefully persuaded his cause with superior arguments and personal conviction. The deceased will be sorely missed as a courageous who spoke truth to power. He was a forthright and blunt man whose position on issue is always clear. The governor commiserates with the horror of Shawo and the entire community, the family of the deceased, and the member and leaders of the APC in Moro local government and Kwara State. Governor Abdulrazak asked God to give comfort to his family and everyone who mourns the late statesman.
And also on Punch newspaper, I have no link to militant, says Fubara. Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has denied any link to militant group when he engaged attempt to incite violence or economic sabotage in his name. Fubara made this known in a statement issued today by his Chief Press Secretary Nelson Chukwudi in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The governor was reacting to trending videos alleging explosion at oil and gas installation in the state, which he described as fake and malicious. He urged security agencies to investigate the source of the videos and take action against those responsible.
And on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, we were threatened with beheading for plucking mangoes, says Borno students. It was a near-death experience for 13-year-old Hajara and Hawa, 11, when they were beaten for illegally plucking 10 mangoes belonging to Muhammad Shetima in Pompomari area of Maiduguri, Borno State. The video of the incident went viral at the weekend, prompting the arrest of Shetima and his wife, who recorded the incident and posted it. Recalling their ordeal to our correspondents, the two biological sisters, Hawa and Hajara, said they were on their way to school when they went to Shetima's house to pluck mangoes. They said they asked for permission from a boy in the house to pluck the mangoes, but the owner, who came in soon after plucking the mangoes, saw them. The boy told us to quickly enter and remove 2 each, but we plucked 5 each. Unfortunately, the owner of the compound returned home and saw us with the mangoes, says Hajara. She said the owner of the mango tree attempted to chop their heads with a cutlass, but his wife intervened and gave him canes. He locked the gates, brought out a cutlass, threatened to hack us to death, but his wife stopped him and brought some sticks for him. We were terrified when he cut the head of his chicken with the cutlass, saying he would do the same to us. He later picked a stick, chased us around the house, and beat us repeatedly. He later opened the gates, but when the wife noticed that I urinated in my trousers, she asked him to beat me more. That's when I fainted. It was one Keke Nape rider who happened to know our brother that pitied our condition and brought us close to our home, she said. The brutal beating of the 2 school children had triggered outrage on social media.
On Punch newspaper, fuel tanker exploded in Niger. A heavy-duty tanker vehicle filled with fuel yesterday night exploded while offloading its contents in a fuel station, causing fear of major casualty. Fuel station was said to belong to a major marketer located a few meters from the B division of the Nigerian police in Kotogora local government area. Eyewitness said the explosion occurred when the premium motor speed, popularly known as petrol, was being offloaded from the tanker. The explosion was said to have been caused a huge inferno. It was learned that while the fuel was being offloaded, other fuel storage tanks at the station were still containing fuel in the station, raising fears of a possible escalation of disaster.
Still on Daily Trust newspaper this morning, concerns as Sanusi Bayero set to hold Salah Doba in Kano. Tension is said to be on the rise in Kano State as the tussle over emirship is taking a new dimension. Both Alhaji Muhammad Sanusi, the 16th Emir of Kano, and Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, 15th Emir of Kano, had indicated interest in holding the 2025 Salah Doba in the state. Last week, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf had asked monarchs to prepare for Doba. Days after the directive, Emir Bayero sent a letter to the Kano State Police Command notifying it of his intention to hold the traditional events during the upcoming Eid al-Fitr celebrations. In the letter signed by the Bayero Private Secretary Abdullahi Haruna Kwaru, he said the celebration will commence at the end of March 2025 with the iconic Hawan Sallah, Hawan Daushe, and Hawan Nasarawa procession taking place on the 4th, 2nd, and 3rd days of Shawwal 1446 after the Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, followed by the cultural events on the 4th day. The letter also highlighted that this year's Salah celebration coincides with the 5th anniversary of Emir Bayero's accession to the throne, adding that all activities will be conducted peacefully and in line with security protocols. The purpose of this letter is to formally notify the security agencies in Kano State, particularly the police force, and this year's Salah events coincide with 5 years of His Highness on the throne of his forefathers, with the assurance that all activities will be conducted peacefully, the letter said.
And on Punch newspaper, address unemployment, insecurity, hunger, Methodist Church urges Tinubu. The leadership of the United Methodist Church in Nigeria, UMCN, has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to implement urgent policy measures to tackle youth unemployment, poverty, hunger, and security, including the ongoing Boko Haram insurgency. In a communique issued at the weekend conclusion of its joint annual conference in Jalingo, Taraba State, UMNCN emphasized the need for swift action to alleviate widespread suffering across the country. The communique, signed by the chairman, Mr. Ancho Andu, the church also raised concern over the closure of its worship center in Taraba State, describing the situation as a source of emotional and physical hardship for its membership. It urged the state government and religious leaders to intervene and facilitate a resolution to dispute between the church and the breakaway faction.
And on the latest newspaper this morning, Desperate Right to Food Act, 11 million children battling with severe food poverty. Despite the passing of the Right to Food Act in 2023, which mandates the government to ensure food security, millions of Nigerians face hunger and malnutrition. The situation is particularly dire in northern Nigeria, where food insecurity is exacerbated by insecurity, poor policy implementation, and economic challenges, with reports of a dramatic increase in the number of severely malnourished children requiring treatment. According to the latest World Food Programme, Nigerian situation reports 11 million people across 6 states in northeast and northwest Nigeria are facing acute food insecurity in 2025. The report attributed the crisis to persistent insecurity, skyrocketing food and fuel prices, climate shocks, and mass displacement, leaving millions struggling to access food and essential nutrition. And lastly, on newspaper review this morning on leadership, don't rush into coalition. NNPP chieftain won Kwankwaso. A prominent chieftain of the New Nigerian People's Party (NNP), Asiwaju Moshood Shittu, has cautioned the party's national leader, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, against hastily entering into any political alliance or merger ahead of the 2027 general elections. Shittu, a former Director General notes of the Kwankwaso Presidential Campaign Council and ex-national chairman of the defunct Alliance National Party (ANP), gave the advice while speaking to journalists in Abuja over the weekend. He warned that any hasty merger, especially one lacking a clear agenda or credible presidential candidate, could turn out to be a marriage of inconvenience, similar to what happened in the run-up to the 2015 elections. We must not repeat the 2014 Lagos-style merger that was hastily arranged just to oust President Jonathan without critically vetting the character and capacity of the candidates presented. The result was disastrous. We ended up with someone far worse than Jonathan, Shittu said. And that brings us to the end of the newspaper review on Emirate Radio this morning.
Join us tomorrow for another episode. For more details on the stories, grab the newspaper.
Yeah, grab the newspaper and go through them. I am Latifah Ibrahim-Arowona. Continue to stay with us on Emirate Radio with all of our top three this morning.
And I am Misturah Issa. Thanks for listening.
Have a great day.
I be that person. We go be your shoulder body, best in anything.